Jay Richards with Dennison Consulting. I am taking this webinar that I conducted on February 19th and condensing it to hopefully something more around the lines of 15 minutes. So I realized as we recorded it last week that 38 minutes is probably a little bit long for what people might want to go through. So hopefully we can make this quick, okay? And get you some good information and get you on your way. But really quickly, a little bit of background on Dennison. We're located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Our specialty is corporate culture and leadership development solutions. So we have a survey, a 48-question culture survey and a leadership development survey. Both are benchmarked against a global database of over 1,000 organizations. We also have a manufacturing norm as well. So we benchmark just strictly against manufacturing firms. So if you want to look at it as how we benchmark across organizations of our global, you can do that. If you want to do just manufacturing, you can do that as well. But the whole idea is to show you where you stack up. Your culture stacks up to other organizations around culture and around leadership development. And from there, typically what our organizations that we work with do, use that information to create a culture that outperforms their competitors and other organizations. This is an example of some of the organizations in the manufacturing benchmark that we have. And this is what our survey rolls up into. It's a 48-question survey that rolls up into our model. And our model is based on mission, which is, as an organization, do you understand where you're going? Do you build consistency into the way that you do things? Do you engage people and involve them into their day-to-day work? And then finally, adaptability. Are you remaining adaptable out there? Whether it's in your industry, with your competitors, with your customers, anything. And all of that makes up the Dennison model. Now, we also have what we call the modules, and this is what I'll be using in the research today, right? So the modules are add-on surveys that are also benchmarked. The one we'll be using today is commitment. How committed are your employees? Diversity and inclusion, engagement, innovation, safety, and trust. But today we're going to be using the commitment, which is a measure of how committed are your employees to your organization, which can predict turnover, okay? So let me give you a little bit of framework of what I did with this little study, okay? We sit on a mountain of data at Dennison. And so I took from these thousands of organizations that have done the survey over the years, I looked at just strictly manufacturing companies. But it was more than that. They had to have also completed the commitment module and asked a question of what would you change about your current organization. So I wanted the culture data, the commitment, and open text, words from the mouths of employees. And then I took it deeper. I took it and looked at just those that answered question 54. I rarely think about looking for a job with an organization. I'm not concerned with agrees. I'm not even concerned with neutral. I'm actually looking at strictly those that answered either strongly disagree or disagree to that question. These are the people that are probably actively looking for another job. And by combining all of this, I can look at and find out through their words why they're leaving. So what did I come up with? We use natural language processing techniques to divide them into all of these responses from employees to put them into themes. And if I can put them into themes or categories, I can then quantify the data to look at, of all of these people that are leaving, why are they leaving and what is the reason that they're leaving? And what we found was that overwhelmingly was at the top of the list was people were leaving because of a boss. And people join organizations and leave bosses. That's been around for years. Everybody in this industry talks about it. And it's funny. But this is actually proves that it's actually happening. Compensation, rewards, and incentives surprise the heck out of me. Okay? Because as you go in to all of these different facilities and these organizations that we work with that have turnover issues, all of the leaders or managers and supervisors or whoever all talk about, oh, they're just leaving for more money. And I'm thinking to myself, as a culture guy, I don't really believe that, but that's fine. The economy's great. I'll buy it, okay? But it's just not true, okay? All they're doing when they say stuff like that is they take the ownership off them and they put it on something external, which is the economy, okay? I guarantee you, if you raised wages within 6 months, you'd still have a turnover issue because it's not really addressing the core issue, which is people join organizations and they leave bosses, period, okay? This is a manager issue. And so as you look at wages rise, you could technically increase your wages. But if everybody else increases their wages too, you're still dealing with the same issue. So if you have a high turnover rate, okay, and right now the industry average, according to salary.com, which tracks 25,000 some odd organizations, has manufacturing right about at 20%. So if you're higher than 20%, you may have some issues that you might need to deal with, or at least address, okay? And so how does this impact you, okay? If you're looking at this or you viewing this video, it's probably because you might think you have a turnover issue. Now, it might not be too bad, and that's okay. Hopefully you can learn something from this. But you also have to understand it's not just a turnover issue, it's a reputation issue. Because in this day and age, you're probably not hiring a lot of boomers right now, right? Boomers right now are probably 57 years old or greater. It's the millennials and the Xers. And when they go to look to hire or look for a job at a firm, they're going onto their phone. They're going to the social apps. They're looking at Glassdoor, Indeed, LinkedIn. And right now, more than ever, okay, people, you're in a glass bowl, okay? You're in a fishbowl. They can see what's going on in your organization because people are leaving comments. Your employees can leave and then leave reviews and text and things like that, a paper trail. And so now they can not only see your dirty laundry, they can smell it too. And you got to be aware of that. Your reputation is at stake. So what do? So here, back in December, late last year actually, I conducted another study. I looked at 400 manufacturing frontline supervisors. Okay, these are the people that are interfacing with your people on a day-to-day basis. Okay, and they, what I wanted to address is what makes an effective supervisor. And I took the 360 data that we have, and they all had to, one, have conducted a 360, be a frontline supervisor, and also have the question, what makes this person effective? And then once again, we use natural language processing techniques to bubble up themes and come up with the top 5 themes of an effective supervisor. If you're interested and want to read the full article, go to Industry Week and just type in Jay Richards, top 5 qualities of a great manufacturing supervisor, and you should find it. But I also have that link at the bottom. That'll get you there too. So what did we find out? 1, effective bosses, they share information with and across groups, okay? This isn't a, I'll give you information on a need-to-know basis kind of person. This person shares information because they want to remove obstacles. They don't want to be the obstacle. They want to give you the information that you need to use to do your job effectively. They not only do that within a work unit, they also do that across. So whether it's floor or office or shift to shift, they're working with people for the good of the organization. Okay, they're not working against each other. So they share information. They're good communicators. They also listen. They're approachable, and they're open to diverse points of view. Okay, listen's a key word. Okay, they're not the type of person looking at their watch. They will sit and listen to your issue. They're very approachable. They're not the type of person that says, my door is always open, yet everybody knows it's shut. That's not how they work. But they also look at different ways. They take information in before they make decisions. 3, they follow up with action. Okay, we can be good listeners, but if we don't follow up, people will then assume that you never listened in the first place. So good leaders follow up on issues that people bring to us. 4, they stay calm under pressure, and they make tough decisions. And stay calm under pressure means they don't create drama, they're not out there yelling, they're not kicking butts. They're the type of people that look to stay calm, stay rational, stay professional. And while they make tough decisions, is a lot of times when I'm coaching leaders up, what you find is they think that if I'm not out there being emotional and I'm not out there creating fear, kicking butts, then people will think I'm weak. And if they think I'm weak, they'll get away with stuff, and that's not the case. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about making tough. You still always have to make tough decisions. It's just how you do it. And that is, we stay calm, we stay professional. And then finally, mentors and supports others. Okay? This isn't the type of person that just throws you into the fire and hopes you succeed. And then they've got an endless body count in their wake. No, this person takes great care. They understand the team with the best players wins. It's just in their blood. So what they do is they create, they guide, and they build great employees. Okay, so shares information, listens, follows up, stays calm, and they coach. Those are the 5 key things. And so what you want to do with this, all right, is you want to create a framework within your organization of expectations that you have for new people that you want to promote. And once they're there, this is what you want them to adhere to. You want people to adhere to the 5 key attributes, okay? So what do you want to do with this information, okay? You might have a great culture. You might have a turnover problem that's above 20%. If it's too far above, you probably got a major issue. But my guess is, in all organizations, you probably got some really good people, and then you've got those that, man, they cause you a lot of headaches, right? Well, we need to address that. Because what happens is those few bad apples have a huge impact on your organization, and they kind of spoil the great work that's being done. So we want to address it, okay? And so as you build your culture, what I always tell people, if you're going to build a great culture, you can't condone bad behavior. You can't have these few bad people out there. But you know what? More than likely, at least in manufacturing that has a high tenured workforce, you also don't want to just let them go. It's not their issue, or they're not their problem. They probably didn't want to be that way, but more than likely they didn't have proper mentoring. They didn't have proper development. So what you want to do, instead of just throwing it out, give them a chance to change. And what my experience is that they're usually very open to it. Almost everybody I've ever coached at the supervisor and management level was extremely open to it because they were frustrated. Nobody's proud of being a bad boss. Nobody's proud. They didn't start their career wanting to be a bad boss. I mean, you don't even get a coffee mug for that one, okay? So they're almost always going to be open to it. So if you're nervous about how they'll react, if you frame it right, they're probably going to be very open to it. And then you don't just change new skills. You don't ship them off to some one-day seminar on how to be a better leader. You know, those are usually like one-day feel-good events. What you want to do is actually you need to change behavior. And what I do when I'm coaching people is the first thing I do is I use Eric Berne's transactional analysis. You'll see that communication model. If you've had any psychology courses or can remember back, it's the parent, child, adult communication state. Usually on the floor when you're talking with you go into the manufacturing employees and you hear that it's one, I see that it's a bad culture. I see it in their survey results. And then 2, I hear people saying, yeah, they treat us like kids. I almost always know that they're communicating out of a parent. They're very authoritarian and they're talking down to employees. And so when I get that, then what I obviously do is then I get them to focus on immediately getting into the adult, which is the rational self. You got parent, which is authoritarian self. You got the child state, which is your emotional state. You get them into adult, and you get them to stay there for a month, trying to create a new habit or behavior. And if they can do that, then what they'll realize is people will start responding to that. in a way that'll surprise you. I had one guy that I coached at a steel firm. After a month, when we got back together, I asked him, "Hey, how you doing?" And one of the things he said was, "Well, everybody calls me New Mike now." And I'm like, well, I laughed, and what do you mean, New Mike? He goes, well, apparently they think I'm a completely different person. Some people think that I actually must have gone to the doctors and got a bad prognosis, and that now I'm trying to atone for my sins. But either way, I told him, hey, that's a good thing. That means whatever you're doing is resonating. And all we did was we took his behavior back down to a rational thing, and what we did then was we get him to operate out of respect, which basically means it's the rule of reciprocity, right? Do unto others as you'd want done unto you, or in this case, respect people how you yourself would want to be respected. And once we start doing that and communicating that, believe me, people will respond. So that's teaching, changing behavior. 4 is then coach them up, man. So if you got people like that, and you're the leader or you're the HR person or whatever, if you see the behavior start to change, reinforce it, okay? Reinforce that behavior. Let them know that you see it. Let them, understand how that impacts the organization as a whole, all of those things. So basically now in a nutshell, like I said, I don't want to hold anybody, and I'm running on 18 minutes already, but here we do. Once again, we can't afford to condone bad behavior, so we need to address the issues. We change behavior, and then we coach them or reinforce them, okay? That's all I've got for you today. I hope this information was useful, okay? I've got others that we're doing right now. We're working on one right now. It's actually just got accepted in Industry Week yesterday, and it deals with generational and gender issues. So we're going to look at boomers, Xers, and millennials by gender to look for what are the commonalities. Everybody looks at differences. We're looking at commonalities. What is it that all of those groups respond to build an effective culture that they want to work in? That's the next video series. And I tell you what, if I missed anything, I was blowing through this pretty quickly. If you have any questions, I'm giving you my cell phone, 734-904-8116. Give me a call, I'll answer it. I love to talk about this stuff. I love what I do, and I'm very passionate. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you hang with us next time. Thank you.